Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Formula. This is Wildcard weekend for Draftkings, the Saturday 2-game slate. We're going to go through, this slate shouldn't take too long. We're going to build out a Millie Maker lineup. We were in the money, as Nick would say, in our last two that we made last weekend. Ended the regular season on a note there, but hopefully we can go for the bigger money in the
Timeout, Corey.
Timeout. Story time.
Story time.
Oh, yes.
Story
We
time.
do have to
Yep.
quickly recap Corey's absolute. I hopped on FaceTime with him. He was this close to a big win. I'll let
Heartbreaking.
Corey talk.
All right, go ahead.
I
Corey.
heard you were crying at one point.
I would be too.
Okay, so this past weekend, Alex and Nick came down for some fun in the sun, and
There you go.
building lineups Sunday morning. And I always build a lineup for the early entry tournaments, so it's just the first 7 or 8 games, whoever's playing that day. It's
We were
$12.
sitting on the couch together. I built this lineup for you.
No, definitely not happen. So I built it. I had a strong feeling about Josh Allen, Diggs, whatever, like not really thinking too much of it. And I look, I'm like, I'm winning, 24, whatever, doubling my money. And like, I'm like, all my players are hitting, like, and then Diggs caught a huge pass from Josh Allen that moved me
Towards
all
the
the way up
end.
to second place, winning $10,000 with probably, I would say, a half a quarter left, maybe a quarter and a quarter. So, sitting there like, need Najee Harris to score just a touchdown, and I take home first place, which was $50K. I'm like, all right, Steelers get the ball down to the 1. Najee's not in. It's
Warren.
Warren. He gets
Jalen
stuffed.
Warren.
Yeah, he gets stuffed on the 1. I'm like, oh, okay. So he comes out. Najee goes in. I'm like, here we go. Najee needs a touchdown. One more touchdown. And they run a reverse fullback dive to Derek Watt.
Reverse fullback dive.
Yeah.
Derek Watt.
Spider
Yeah.
2Y banana.
Okay. So that happened. So now I'm no longer gonna have a chance for first place.
Still winning.
Still winning
$10,000.
$10,000 in second. And I'm
Great
up.
day.
I'm like about 2 points above third. Sammy Watkins catches a pass, deep pass. He's running, fumbles the ball, stripped. People who had Bengals defense pass me. So then I go to third place, winning $5,000. I'm like, okay, there's 3 minutes left in the game.
Hold
I'm like, we just need to hold
on.
on. Last person is Isaiah Likely. He cannot catch a ball for more than 3 yards, because then he'll get the 100-yard bonus and the extra points. And last pass of the game, the meaningless game.
Didn't matter. Game was over.
Game
Bengals
was
up
over.
double digits.
Isaiah Likely catches a 9-yard pass. Time expires. Go all the way down to 6th place to win $650.
Which is still good.
Still a good
It's
win.
good, but it's just that
the
emotional
tease-
swing is the worst when you're going from the top to the bottom. Whereas if Corey was like in 30th place and goes up to winning 650, he's screaming for
Yeah.
joy. But when it
Right.
happens the other way, it hurts so bad.
on the last play, no less.
Last play.
Like,
yeah, literally
that
the
happens.
last meaningless play.
Yeah,
They
like
didn't
that
even snap the
happens
ball.
with like a quarter left, and you're like, well, damn, there's still
Yeah.
like a whole fourth quarter to play. Meaningless, down double
Better to
digits,
get beat
didn't
by a
need it.
ton.
Yeah. That was a little bit longer than expected, but I had to, have everyone relive
You had
that.
to build it up.
Yeah.
Because-
So what we're saying is we're still riding hot here, and we're going to continue
We're
that
so
into
close.
the playoffs. Like we've been.
That same weekend, Nicholas.
Yeah, you
On
had a
the-
Yeah,
that
it
the
took
Saturday games?
Yeah, that was the Saturday slate, and Trevor Lawrence was kneeing the ball out, and he was up by like 0.5, so I just needed like 5 yards of him kneeling down. He only kneeled out 4.
The first one he
I
took
lost.
2. The first
Yeah.
knee he took 2, he backed up and let the clock run a little bit and like
Yep.
kept taking steps back, and we were like,
Yeah.
oh, go, keep going,
Yeah.
keep going.
Screaming at a kneeling play.
Again, another meaningless like end
Yeah,
of the game.
so I lost first place by 0.1 points, split second place between I don't know how many people for $500. So close.
Yeah. We're getting there, but I'm telling you, we're narrowing in here, and we're gonna hit bigger with
Taking it
one of
down.
our joint lineups here.
We're taking it down.
We're just warming up for the Super Bowl.
Yep.
We're taking
All
down
right.
the Millie Maker in the Super Bowl again.
Back to back.
That's right.
All right. So we have first game. This is again these small slates. I think the second game is going to be a bit more popular when it comes to the quarterbacks and some of the skill position players. So, based off what happens in the first game, if players hit, like, you would need to be willing to late swap off of to some really low on pieces, which is very hard to do in a 2-game slate because pretty much all the pieces are going to be chalky. But if you start off slow, you kind of have to do that to make up any ground at all.
Yeah, pretty much all of like the regular rules that you would have go pretty much out the window on a 2-game slate, right? Like you're
You
going to
can
have to
salary.
play defense with people that are going against the defense. Salary is probably going to be left on the board.
Yep. You can leave like 2,000 even sometimes, like just depending on what the lineup looks like. It's a lot of the regular rules go out the window. You can play like 4 players against a defense. Not like literally none of it matters.
Yep.
So with that being said, we'll start off. What quarterbacks do you guys like this week? Herbert and Lawrence are going to be the most popular guys. Sticking with them, or are you going to sprinkle in some of the other two?
I think I'm sticking with those top 2 guys.
Okay.
And I think I'm leaning Lawrence a little bit just because the price tag. I think it's going to allow you to get a little bit more pieces from the other games in there, a little bit more higher owned guys. I could definitely see Herbert outscoring Trevor Lawrence, but I'm kind of leaning T-Law. I think the problem that you've got in the other game is I could definitely see the 49ers defense taking it to Geno, giving him a tough game and him not putting up much. And then Brock Purdy obviously killing it. Niners on a 10-game win streak, but even in those games that they're putting up 30 points in terms of fantasy points, he's not breaking 20. Like they're getting it done through other ways. And so even though I think that, he's been doing a solid job on the field in terms of fantasy, I'm probably staying away from that game and the quarterbacks.
Yeah, he doesn't really need to do a lot. He has CMC, and now he's getting Debo and Eli Mitchell back.
Yeah.
So like their juggernaut triple option type of offense can be in full swing, and he just has to game manage. So something interesting about this slate, we have 4 QBs. We've never seen any of them in a playoff game. Kind of fun. A couple rookies in there, and I'm excited to see Justin Herbert. My teams on the Saturday slate are going to be nicknamed Herbie Fully Loaded. We're going all in on the Chargers. I like targeting weak defenses against the pass, and Herbert, I think like they know he's the key to success. I love Eckler too. I'm going to pair them together a ton, and I'm riding with Herbert all the way here, 100%.
Yeah, so on a regular slate, a lot of times my quarterback pool is like between, I'd say, 3 and 5 quarterbacks. So like on these 2-game slates, I'm usually fine. Like sometimes just if I really like one quarterback, making all of my lineups just one quarterback and just leverage the field that way and try to get different in other parts of my lineup. I will say though, because I like 2 of these quarterbacks enough, like I'm fading probably Geno and Purdy completely. I'm going pretty much all in, half and half on Herbert and Lawrence. I think they're both the best plays. I think that game is the one that's way more likely to shoot out. And you also have the advantage of it being the last game, so you have more late swap options.
Yep.
So that's where I'm going to be. I'm fading Purdy, who's, Purdy and Geno will probably get like, I don't know, 30 to 35% of all teams. So just trying to leverage the field above that 35%.
Man, I might just be going
Herbert, Colin.
Yeah, I mean, I like Nick's call of just going Herbert. Man, something tells me Brock Purdy. I don't know. I have this inkling, like
Don't do it.
even if he, with all these weapons at his disposal now, I know they're going to run the ball, and that's what they plan on doing. But like, if he gets, all right, so if he just like throws the ball 10 yards, and you let Christian McCaffrey run, I mean, there's ways for him to get there other than
George Kittle blow up game.
Throwing 3 touchdowns or 2 touchdowns from like the 5-yard end. Like, I know that's not a lot of points, and I don't know, with such a small slate, like I feel like if you're trying to get these high end plays, like
Yeah, I get it from the sense like
but
Purdy
you
and
just-
Gino. Okay, go ahead.
well, I'm just saying, yeah, if that's the case, like if you're playing low end play, like play Gino instead because he has the higher upside of throwing for more yards and the better, and not necessarily the better targets, but or the better matchup. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna be a lot of Herbert and a couple sprinkies of Trevor Lawrence and Brock Purdy, like very minimal, like maybe 3 lineups of each out of my 40.
Okay. So, I mean, I would say right now, again, quarterback, you're never really going to like, yeah, Gino will be the lowest owned of them all probably, but again, he'll still be above 10%, and you're not going to like win a slate just by playing like, a Gino stack. So we move on to running back. This, unlike some of these other slates where we've had these like committee backfields, you have straight, clear lead bell cow backs that, I mean, you have McCaffrey, ETN, Eckler, Kenneth Walker, and then I guess like Elijah Mitchell mixes in with a bit, but it's like and these guys are 8.5, 8.1, 6K. Like people are going to be like almost forced to spending a lot of their salary just at the running back position, and you basically have to.
Yep. I think there's a lot of lineups here, given where the wide receivers are priced at, that you can get those top 3 guys.
You can get all 3 of them, yeah,
for sure, into a lineup, and CMC is going to be in 100% of the lineups that I build.
Yeah, he's going to be
100%,
like probably 90 something percent of mine. I probably won't go 100 because just that it's hard for me to get to 100 of just him, but yeah, it'll be close to that.
Yeah.
Well, hang on. I know I shouldn't throw this out there, but I'm going to anyways. Don't go all 100% on one running back because weeks pass, small game slates.
If
been injury
gets hurt.
I would say if you're not playing McCaffrey,
good point.
I would say Elijah Mitchell is a great play because again, he's 4.7. Everyone else is going to be paying up at running back. McCaffrey doesn't get there. Good chance Elijah's vultured him, and you lever the field that way, and then you can pay up at some of the tight end and receiver spots.
I think there's also a decent probability that this game could blow out, in which case McCaffrey's not playing in a blowout. They're going to save this guy for
play
their
most of this
Super Bowl
game.
run. Like he's going to play, but you know what I mean? Like they're going to mix in more Eli Mitchell if they have a comfortable lead. So, I think he's probably the, high risk, high reward for the 8K range. But I was kind of looking at it. I think some interesting leverage could be paying for McCaffrey, Eckler, and then someone who's actually my favorite play in the running back position, Travis Etienne. So we know the Chargers are a run funnel defense. And if you think back to when Lawrence and Etienne were playing in the national championship game together, that's probably the biggest stage they've been on. And here they are again together. He leaned on him a ton. And Etienne had a massive game and probably one of the reasons he was drafted so high in the draft. So I think, Lawrence's check down and he's comfortable in these high pressure moments with him. I think that's going to go a long way. So he's kind of my lock of the week at running back. I'm feeling
coming around on ETN. I see.
Yeah, well, James Robinson's out of the way, so
I remember
ETN just gets so much volume, dude. He's been getting in the pass game.
Yeah. He's got everything you'd want.
I like the call, playing all 3, but again, there is absolutely no way you're getting different because I would say half of people's lineups are going to play all 3 of these guys. I literally think half of people, like, you can't go anywhere else. And the running backs are literally the best plays on the whole slate. You're going to see most people, like right now, if we just start off the chalk, Herbert, McCaffrey, ETN, Eckler, tons of people are going to have it.
Yeah.
Now, I would say Elijah Mitchell is the best leverage running back play. You could play McCaffrey with him, or you fade McCaffrey and play Elijah Mitchell. That's the best leverage play at the running back position. But again, ETN, Eckler, McCaffrey, phenomenal plays.
Yeah, so Eckler is probably my favorite. Actually, I'm not gonna say favorite, but out of the three, I mean, they're all in the same tier for me, kind of. The one thing with Eckler, he was losing target share when Keenan Allen and Mike Williams was back. I think his target share declined by like 13% or something outrageous like that. Now monitoring Mike Williams, if he's in or out, even if he's in, he could easily play like a couple plays and get banged up and have to come off. I like Eckler more as a pass catching back than Christian McCaffrey, especially with Mike Williams out. And I think Debo does come in and snake some things away from McCaffrey as well. Eckler is by far and away the best running back there. I mean, you're not playing Joshua Kelly, so that's the only worry I have with McCaffrey is like, he either scores 40 points or he scores 17. Like, there's a wide range of things that can happen with Christian McCaffrey.
To me, McCaffrey is the safest play of the slate, but
he's getting at least 20 points in the first quarter. Let's be honest. He's
if I had to rank them, it would be like just at their price points. To me, it's McCaffrey, ETN, then Eckler. That's
okay. So if you go back to so last week, I mean, meaningless game, kind of. He's 16, Vegas 34, Washington 13. Last time he played Seattle, he had 28, 32, 28. Then it's either like a big game.
But the thing is, on a 2-game slate, 17 points could be needed.
I completely understand that. But okay, well, we can move on. I was just saying that's why I like Eckler a bit more than McCaffrey.
Okay.
I don't think you can go wrong with the top three there. They're all just volume monsters.
Yeah, I mean, they're all going to be owned. Like, they're great plays. Like, you're not going to win a tournament by, just playing those guys. So this was the wide receiver, and I'd say tight end typically is where you can get some leverage, especially the wide receiver. This is where you can find just these random wide receiver 3s or 4s on a 2-game slate, or they just sometimes get to 6 points, but they're so cheap. Rest of the lineup fits. And this is how you get to first place. And so, there's not many leverage plays, I'll say, on this slate. Like, there's 4 to me. But first, let's start off at just some of our favorite, like, good plays, players that will be owned. And then we'll get into, like, maybe some of the sneaky guys that, like, nobody's going to play.
Yeah.
Before we dive in, any like indication whether Mike Williams will or will not play?
I think he will.
He's gonna play.
I think he's gonna play, but he's been rested.
Not practicing.
Yeah,
they're just gonna shoot his back up with a bunch of Toradol and let him go.
Probably. Back's tough though. Like, that's one bad tackle or one weird fall, and
like. So who do you guys like?
I think Keenan Allen's my favorite.
Just
given Mike Williams' health on top of all that. He's been Herbert's guy all year when healthy, and Nick said it, volume king. I mean, dude averages how many targets a game? Like 10, easy.
At least.
And there's I scrolling through. There's 4 here where he's over 10 targets. So, like, I don't know. In a game that I think will definitely, I like the under in the first game and the over in the second, in a game that I think definitely puts up more points. And Mike Williams' health is, I think, a huge piece for Keenan Allen.
Okay. Nick and Corey.
Yeah. I mean, that opens up Josh Palmer a lot too. Like, Mike Williams isn't there or is on a limited snap count. I feel like Josh Palmer's kind of been the guy to fill the gap, whether it was Mike Williams or Keenan Allen being injured all year. But I actually think one of the Jacksonville receivers is probably going to be in the winning lineup. I think Zay Jones.
Zay Jones is so he's my favorite value. He's my favorite value play on.
I like the risk reward there a lot.
Well, he'll be. I
don't
think
know.
Zay is going to be the highest owned receiver of the slate,
Yeah.
but I think for good reason because he's so cheap. He's 4.3K.
Yeah.
Like
Coming
Yeah.
off a couple of low games, but we've seen him hit his ceiling multiple times this year.
Yeah.
yeah. So
And
he
I don't know. Maybe I just have some recency bias against Christian Kirk. He was on my fantasy team this year. Won me some games, lost me some games, but kind of a frustrating player. It's like never consistent.
Corey, who's your favorite?
I mean, because I like Herbert so much, I'm gonna stick with the group and say Keenan Allen. I really like what Brandon Ayuk has been doing as well. I don't know if he's going to get that much. I mean, all these players are gonna be owned, so like, I don't know. I think he's kind of a sneaky guy to play there. But yeah, I mean, it's Keenan Allen, and I think the next one under that would be either I think it's Lockett or Metcalf. I mean, they're set up in good positions. You expect them to have to throw the ball, to play catch up. The targets are there. You just got to hope and pray that Geno has a decent game.
Yeah. To me, Metcalf's my favorite. Like, so I said Zay Jones is like my favorite value guy just because of his price. Like, he's just so cheap. Metcalf is just my favorite raw player this week. Like, I want to have Metcalf or Lockett in a lot of my lineups. And of course, I usually lean Metcalf just because I think he's a superior talent. And again, you can attack this. Lockett's the one that's actually been doing really well against San Fran this season. He's had the better games, but I'm gonna go to Metcalf. But again, I like both. And then because I said like Herbert and Lawrence are gonna be my main two guys, like I'm always gonna be stacking the quarterback. So like Herbert, if Mike Williams plays, I'm gonna have more Mike Williams than Keenan Allen. It's a pure like leverage spot to me. Like if people are gonna be scared off of someone that we've seen just completely break slates in the past, and if he's good to go and he's out there, and even if they shot him up with meds or whatever, like if he's out there and he's think he's gonna perform, and so it's just I think Keenan Allen will be really popular, so I think it'll be a good spot to get different. And like your Palmer call as well. I think he'll be really low owned.
I also like DeAndre Carter there. I feel like he fills
Carter too.
a lot of the Mike Williams hole when he's not in there on the outside.
Yep. He was
good call.
Yeah.
That's some good leverage too. A lot of guys probably, overlook that. So
okay, so if we're talking about that, we're going that cheap down. I mean, okay, we're gonna make this statement like you can literally play anyone between 7 to 5-3. I mean, all those players are gonna be high owned.
Yep.
They're gonna get ownership.
Yeah. You're not winning a tournament by playing. I mean, you could win a tournament like with these, but you're going to be chopping it with a ton. If all these players that are like 30+% owned, like there's zero chance you're going to win any of that. You're going to be split it with tons of people and get a much smaller portion of the pot. So
yeah, I don't think you could go below Juwan Jennings.
I think you can.
Yeah, I think you can too.
I have so Juwan Jennings is one of them. He's going to be really low owned, and I like him.
Yeah, I will say I'm not going to play any Ray. I'm
not playing him. No,
Debo's
he's just
back.
a gadget guy. Yeah,
he was filling Debo's role and the little
very
rounds. Yeah.
Corey, are we on the other two?
Young, and I like Young. He got.
Okay. You're on Young. I'm on the other guy, Cade
Treadwell?
Johnson. No, Cade Johnson. Treadwell's out.
Treadwell's out.
Or Treadwell. Cade Johnson is like their third guy.
Okay. I mean, yeah, Cade's. I think
Cade is gonna play like it's like Lockett and Metcalf kind of on the outside. Like Lockett mixes up in the slot a bit, but Cade is like their slot guy.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. The receiving options for Seattle are all over the board besides DK and
right.
For everything goes.
Cade Johnson's a guy that if you pair him, like for example, you pair Cade Johnson with Mike Williams, if he's plays and he's low owned, and someone like Elijah Mitchell, you will be unique. You will definitely have a unique lineup. So it's just like you find like pairings where, okay, I pair these two guys together, I'm going to leverage the field. And Cade Johnson's one of them. I like Jennings. You mentioned that, Nick. there's one more guy on the Jags that Corey, you've talked about in the past.
Jamal Agnew.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
And you can get the double because he's the return guy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
So you get the double dip with the Jags defense, and you will propel. I mean, Jags D. They're not going to be like maybe 20% owned or whatever. It's going to be pretty. 49ers are going to be the highest owned, but the other three are going to be really spread out. You get the Agnew Jaguars double dip. You will just propel past so many people on a 2-game slate if that hits.
Yeah. And they use him as gadget plays in the reverses and stuff like that. He's their speedster. So
Yeah,
he'll get at least 1 or 2 chances on
Yep.
offense to do something.
and he will be super, super low owned.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the most outrageous, boring, just crazy play tight ends, because this will definitely win you. Talk about receivers. Pick one of the Seattle Seahawks tight ends and tell me which one. DM me, please, and then
I got one for you.
Okay, what is it?
Colby Parkinson.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
What sort of
Colby
intel you got
Parkinson.
that he's in the game script a lot? Let's hear this.
Look, he's been on the field quite a bit these past couple of weeks. 4 targets, 7 targets, 3 targets. They use him in the red zone package. Obviously, Seattle has probably 12 tight ends on their squad. So it's always a dart throw there. But I think he's going to get the most looks out of the group. I don't like Noah Fant at all.
I don't like him either.
Yeah, so then you've got Tyler Mabry.
Yeah, he just completely just
It's pretty much like Fant and Parkinson.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't like Fant. So dart throw wise, Colby Parkinson is who I'm gonna call out. I think Kittle loses quite a bit of upside with Debo coming back, and he's been putting up numbers, but he's super touchdown dependent these last couple of weeks. Like if you take away his touchdowns the last couple of games, he's putting up
4 or 5 points.
Yeah, he's putting up sub 10. So while he's been killing it and getting into the end zone a ton, 7 touchdowns in the last 4 games. I just think with Debo coming back, that's going to limit some of that.
Yeah, no, I like the Kittle fade. He's going to be actually I'll call him the scariest fade of the week for me.
Yeah.
Like, especially at a position where it's like you have Evan Ingram, Noah, like you have like it's pretty much dust, and then you have like him who's a stud.
Yeah.
But he's
going against Seattle too.
Yeah, going in an amazing matchup.
Yeah.
But he's like a guy that, like, if he goes off, I'm probably not having a good Saturday.
You can't do it.
What?
You can't
do it.
Can't full fade
him?
I can't full fade him. There's
no, I'm not. It's not like a fade, but it's like enough to where it's like, unless one of my random lineups that don't have him or that have him end up winning first, I'm for sure losing money. That's
right.
That's what I mean. But
because he's playing him so little.
No, I understand. I'm just like,
I like with Debo back, and then
Mitchell. I know they might just use him, revert back to like, hey,
block. We'll save you for the shootouts.
Yeah, George. You got your touchdowns. We got your contract incentives. Like that could be another thing. Like the reason why he just popped off is they're trying to force feed him the ball. Like, hey,
didn't think of that.
It's like, hey, Brock, I need 4 or 5 touchdowns in the last like 5 games. Look for me more often. I'm be
sling it my way.
Yeah, that's definitely something that could have been playing the part why he has so many touchdowns in the last like 5 weeks. I mean, yes, he's a great player. Everett, you gotta like any of the tight ends. I mean, you can go down to Parham Jr. As a fade for Everett. He sees the field enough, and again, if Mike Williams is out, all you're hoping for Farm is like 20 yards and a touchdown at that point, because I don't think he's gonna be that highly owned.
It's my favorite tight end play of the slate.
Parham,
Donald Parham.
Wow.
2.7K. If I'm leveraging Kittle, I'm not, Evan Ingram, like going against Derwin J. Like, I'm not about that as much. Like, yeah, Evan Ingram, like he'll be the highest owned tight end. I think Evan Ingram will at his price. Kittle will be second, but then Everett and Parham will be like, and the Seahawks guys will be like the lower owned, and Parham 100% will be the lowest owned of them all. And I love it. He gets looks where it counts, like in the red zone, and he gets several targets a game. You get a touchdown out of him. Like I'm dancing. I'm dancing to the bank.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, he doesn't need to do much. He just
No, he doesn't. He can get you 5 and being a winner because, like I said, on these 2-game slates, it's about certain plays that unlock the rest of your lineup. When you play a guy that's 2.7K, or what's Parkinson's price?
2.5.
Yeah.
So when you play Parham or these 2.5 Parkinson, the rest of your lineup, no one can get to all those same players without having that super cheap piece that allows you to unlock the rest of it. And that's why sometimes I like those Jamal Agnews, Donald Parhams, and K. Johnson, whatever.
You also only really need one out of them, right? Like one long play, one touchdown.
Yep.
That pays for itself.
On a regular slate, you might need a lot more. On a 2-game, no. You can get a complete snowflake at the position.
Right.
In first.
I just submitted a Millie Maker lineup with Parham and Agnew.
There you go. That
You
will
guys
be
convinced
unique.
me. PB is like, nobody will have him.
All right, let's
I'm
build
sick
this
of
lineup.
splitting
Until I
pots.
said something like I could probably have an Agnew and Parham lineup that'll be different than yours.
Yeah. I mean, I put the top 3 running backs in.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, no, don't.
All right.
We'll get to a lineup.
All right, let's build up a lineup. I don't think there's anything
Yeah.
else to talk about.
No. Here, and when you pull up the lineup real quick, I want to quickly, because I can show everyone exactly what like the most popular build 100%. Oh, you have something built out already?
Oh yeah, I was just messing around while we were talking.
Okay. Let me quickly just go and just
Let's see it. I'll throw it together as you call out names.
So put Herbert, all 3 of the top running backs.
Okay.
Zay Jones, 49ers defense. Evan Ingram, DK Metcalf, or Lockett, either one. And swap Herbert for Lawrence, because Herbert and Lawrence are both going to be. I'm going to show you an example of just
Marvin.
Etienne, Ingram, Metcalf, Jones.
Marvin,
Marvin Jones.
Yeah.
That lineup, don't even bother putting that in a tournament. Like, you will split it so many ways. Like, that's like a double. If you want to play double ups this weekend,
Multiplier.
we just built you a free double up lineup this week. Probably the most optimal lineup, I would say, is this right here.
Maybe a multiplier. You can put that in there too.
Let me just screenshot that really quick.
Yeah, like this right here is what you'd call just a straight optimal, but not likely to win you at all. But now we're gonna go ahead and try to build us
field.
one that will win us all.
For the Millie.
For the Millie.
Yes.
You're not winning a Millie with that last one.
No. All right. So I think we've all agreed on
Herbert or Lawrence.
Yeah.
It sounds like more people are on Herbert.
Yeah.
I think with a two game field, you find leverage elsewhere. At QB, you just try and go for most points.
Yep, I agree.
Okay.
So Herbert, we need to get either Keenan Allen or Mike Williams, and I mean probably Eckler.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Eckler and Keenan Allen would be my vote.
Same.
Okay.
You probably get like 65% of the offense right there.
So do you guys want to? Do you guys want to get McCaffrey and ETN in here? Because we're gonna want a Jags or multiple Jags in the run back if we're stacking that game up.
Yeah, I think we try and get both.
Yeah,
I
I
think.
agree.
You think we should do both?
Yeah, I do.
Corey, you don't want to?
I think we can get different if we don't play.
No, I think we get different by the tight end here. What we all just mentioned.
Okay. All right.
I think you're at least in the money playing those 3.
Just those 3 you get in the money. I don't
So
know.
we throw on Parham since we got Herbie.
Parham.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
I think you just play Seahawks D, the cheapest D.
Yeah.
Yep. Seahawks D is my favorite D of the week.
Yeah, and Purdy, rookie QB, first playoff game.
Yep.
Could easily throw an interception, could easily get strip sacked.
And again, your defense, when you pay for the cheapest one, it's about what you can get in the rest of your lineup. Like we're allowed now, we got the best quarterback, all 3 top running backs, the number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah.
And then we pay down at a really 2 positions that are so volatile, tight end and defense. And now we can fit in.
We could also switch out Keenan Allen for Mike, and that would
We can see what that'll do. It might allow, by doing that, we might be able to get to Lockett or Metcalf, I believe. We might be able to see if we can do Keenan and no, we can't do Keenan and Metcalf, but we can do Mike Williams and Metcalf.
No, we had Mike Williams, you dunce.
Yeah, I know. I was seeing if we could do.
You could get Keenan and Lockett or Mike and DK. That's
so here's a perfect example of you can basically create the exact same shell. You have all these plays and then you just swap Metcalf for Lockett, and that allows you to go from Mike to Keenan, and then you play one of these 3 to 3.4K guys.
Yeah.
So who do you guys want? Right now our leverage is Mike and Parham. Zay or Marvin Jones is going to be the highest owned of these guys. So if we went K Johnson, we already have Metcalf, so we don't want K Johnson. Probably.
I would say probably Jennings.
We'd go Jennings
or Agnew.
I like Agnew.
See, and Nick, is this the same lineup that you had? Probably not.
No, it's not.
Exactly.
I like Agnew. I think Doug Peterson, people forget he ran the Philly special. If Agnew's their gadget guy, I like this a lot.
You can do a lot from this lineup, from just the core of it. You can take out, like say McCaffrey, and then fill in with other positions with the extra salary you have there. There's a lot of ways to go. Just let you know, just if you think like, oh, this is such a sweet lineup, like this is it, like
build off the main pieces.
Yep, you build like a core. Like let's say, if you're entering, like I'm entering 150, so like I just let it run. But if you are just building, let's say like 5 to 10 lineups, I would say you want to go 100% in on some just core pieces, and then you just switch out the leverage spots, like the Mike Williams, the K Johnsons, the Agnew, the Donald Parham for Parkinson, things like that. But you can build like a core of your favorite like chalky plays.
Yeah. So since I hand build 40 lineups, 50 lineups a week,
that's impressive, Corey.
The way I do it is, I pick, well, especially on a 2-game slate like this, I'll pick, like we just said, the core players that I really like, and I'll build out that entire lineup. And then you can go, when you import, you can go to the next lineup or the next entry, you import it in.
Yeah.
And you can edit the import, you bring out the players, and then you click and submit it. And then it holds, and it basically just keeps building upon each other. So
yeah,
that's the way to do it.
But that right there was a solid Millie Maker lineup. Two very low owned pieces. Well, if you include Mike and he plays, there's 3, I would say. So,
yep,
solid tournament lineup we got there, with the best plays surrounding those leverage spots. So, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't steal the lineup. We're trying to win the million this week.
No one likes a stealer.